So, look, this is Fourth Down Magic, okay? And we're being sponsored by 2040 Sports. We're coming right at you. We're going to talk about some football, and there is something to talk about, let me tell you. So I'm Brian Vick. We got Christopher Wynn, Patrick Coleman, and we're going to get right into this now. What about that Aaron Rodgers press conference today? I've never seen anything like it. A star quarterback like that being so open, telling you exactly what he thought, all this hype, all this bullshit throughout the whole off season, and now Rodgers is telling you exactly what he thought. I thought it was fascinating. Christopher, what are your takes from this?
Welcome to a whole new world of media where we're being very honest about how we are physically, psychologically, and the whole business. And Aaron Rodgers is a cagey guy, has always been a cagey guy. Maybe the recent admissions of a certain tennis star and a certain gymnastics star has inspired a lot of other athletes to be honest and stop beating around the bush about this, that, and the other. So I appreciated his honesty, and it's about time. He called this not the most important thing. It really isn't. This is a thing between him and the Packers that, of course, since he's such a big star, spreads to everybody else. He got one more year to make a Super Bowl. They don't make it this year. He obviously needs to be traded away, and that's that.
What do you think, Patrick?
Well, I think three things. One, I admire Aaron Rodgers for doing his research as far as guys that left Green Bay with regards to him calling out the front office not treating Jordy Nelson and Charles Woodson correctly. And two, as someone commenting on it, giving an opinion, I appreciate the fodder that he gives because it definitely moved the needle to the nth degree. But I just want to know who died and allowed Aaron Rodgers to play God. Because last time I checked, this guy, yeah, okay, great. He's great during the regular season, but he hasn't won a Super Bowl since like Fernando Tatis Jr. was in diapers, okay? He's only won one Super Bowl. He's Donovan McNabb-esque when it comes to getting to the Super Bowl because he's only gotten to one, and that was eons ago. That was the year before Tim Tebow became the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos, for God's sakes. And once again, he came up smaller than mini-me because he had first and goal at the 10, and he had a wide open lane to the end zone to run into the end zone, and he threw it away high and wide to Devontae.
The Green Bay Packers made him God because he asked to be traded, and they didn't do it. That makes you God, by definition.
Well, what about this, though?
The MVP.
What about this? Right.
I want rings.
But no. Listen, all valid points. But just think about this now. He did this shit on Twitter where he posted a picture of Jordan and Pippen, fist bumping, and Devontae Adams. What about the idea that, look, Rodgers is not stupid. This guy's a really smart guy. He knows with watching The Last Dance and this and that. This literally is, dude, win, lose, or draw. This is it. This is the last dance for 12 in green and gold. So Rodgers is kind of setting the stage for hey, this is my farewell tour. If you want to be on it and we can try to win a Super Bowl, awesome. If not, fuck it. I'm going to go look somewhere else next year. And he's already looking.
Yeah, I agree. I just think it's kind of it's what's the point? If he knows this is his last dance, and what's he doing complaining about stuff that happened 10 years ago? If it would be different if he was like Tom Brady and wanted to pick his roster like he did in Tampa Bay, bringing Gronk with him and Antonio Brown and other guys. But this guy has come up small in multiple NFC Championship games. He wet the bed against Seattle, and then against Atlanta a few years ago, he was absolutely atrocious. I mean, everyone says that their defense was bad. The last time I checked, they get the ball just as many possessions. And they didn't take advantage. And the fact that he's just won one Super Bowl and he won it so long ago, I think it was his third year as a starter. Yeah, because the first year he was a starter, he went 6-10. The next year he lost to the Cardinals.
He is the reigning MVP, though. I mean, he's the reigning MVP. He's not he's just some guy.
Got to finish the job, though, man. That was the thing with Peyton Manning for so many years.
I agree with you, Patrick, but this is a situation when it comes to the most important position in sports outside goalie and hockey, the quarterback position, both things can be true. You can be really good, yet not so good in the go-to situation. Look at Dan Marino. Look at John Elway, most of his career. Rodgers did get there once. I know it was a long time ago, but it's difficult. And when he's the MVP, he's still there. He's, you can't get your banking on him as you banking on some rookie quarterback coming in, Trevor Lawrence, to be Aaron Rodgers. True. Yeah, I mean, and just winning it all isn't easy. I mean, it just is not easy for anybody. Right. I know Tom Brady makes it seem easy, but it is not easy. So, I don't know. I think you're right, but I think both things can be true.
Yeah, two things certainly can be true. I just think it's kind of, it sets a bad precedent as far as training camp goes, because now that's all they're going to be talking about, is Aaron Rodgers and this and that.
That's one of
if they lose. But
you're right about that.
Cures all. Sure. Winning cures all. If they're winning, it's the rally behind Aaron Rodgers tour. If they're losing, if they're 4-7, they're going to be like, cancer in the locker room.
They better win, because he's he's 6. I think he's like 6-7 in his last 13 playoff games since he won the Super Bowl.
Right. But they're gonna be 12-5. Probably something like that.
Yeah, because the NFC North ain't strong.
Just a side note, how weird does that feel saying 12-5 in the NFL, man?
It is a little weird. It's going to take some time. But, ultimately, hey, for us, it's another week of football. I'm with it.
Oh, totally. Same.
But, so listen, this actually makes me think of another related story, I guess, that, Deshaun Watson now is like, he's reporting. All of a sudden, he's reporting to training camp. Right. I know. Right, because he does not want to get fined $50,000 a day. But listen, here's the thing. But it raises a question, though, that, these guys like Rodgers, like Deshaun Watson, what teams are going to sit there and trade a whole bunch of assets for these guys? Who really needs a quarterback right now? I mean, there's a couple teams, like I was talking before with you guys. I think New Orleans is maybe a team, maybe Denver. But what teams really are looking for a quarterback right now?
The Jets.
Well, they just drafted the guy number 2 overall. Yeah,
I mean, it's a science contract.
That's typical Jets.
You're
typical
asking
New York
the question. Jets. They do not have a quarterback right now. And the argument was also made that both quarterbacks that did take snaps today never took snaps in the NFL, besides the fact that Zach Wilson, the guy they're waiting for, also never took snaps in the NFL. So the answer is, who needs a quarterback is the New York Jets. Just saying, until proven otherwise.
I'm not
saying for them to trade for him. Just come on.
This is the type of situation where, for me, it's hard to know for this year which team needs a quarterback, because it's literally training camp right now, and pending injury, teams seem relatively set with their guys. But I feel like a team that could be a dark horse, just because they have a tailor-made, ready to rock and roll defense, is the Washington football team. Because right now they got Fitz, and as an Eagles fan, I hope that the Washington football team doesn't acquire Deshaun Watson, because one, he's an exceptional talent, but two, I just think the way that team looks right now, they already have some good wide receivers, and if they put him in that lineup, it's going to be curtains, if he can play, mind you, because all these civil suits are now turning into criminal lawsuits. So for me, so it's at this point, you don't know whether he can play, but if he can play, then it's big trouble for the rest of the NFC East if he went to Washington. So that's the team that would be on my
radar. You're seeing some interesting angles. I never thought about him going there, and that would be fascinating, but that will never ever happen. It would be a public relations nightmare.
Well, I feel like everywhere
the
they're
front
going to be a
office
public relations.
with their cheerleaders already. They're already in sexual assault territory,
Yeah.
Washington front office right now. That's the only reason that won't happen. Otherwise, I'd be like, you're right. If Deshaun Watson goes there and for some reason he's allowed to play, that's dangerous. But no way.
It's kind of like Tebow going to any NFL team. Like, it's going to be a PR circus, and it's the same thing with Deshaun Watson with all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
Everywhere he goes, it's going to be a circus.
But there is bad because they already have this recent problems.
Right. And listen, in a way, it's almost genius that maybe he goes to Washington. Because think about that owner. Dude, Daniel Snyder is the slimiest guy around. If he's going to sit there and say, hey, we can give up 2 number one.
Not to Deshaun.
What are they going to – what are the Texans going to get? They're not getting 3 or 4 number 1 picks for Deshaun Watson. That is not happening.
That's the highest they can go right now. The highest.
3. That was totally a message to Howie Roseman saying, hey, 3 first-round picks because the Eagles next year have their pick,
2.
And then they have the Colts pick if Wentz plays 70% snaps, and then they have Miami's pick. What's that? Yeah.
Wow.
So they have 3 first-round picks. So it was totally, and not to mention the Eagles are technically seen as the front runner. So that was a message to Howie Roseman saying, hey, if you want them, just give us your 3 first-round picks.
No.
But hopefully, Howie, like fish, ain't biting.
Yeah.
I can see disrespectful, as you mentioned off camera, why the Eagles are the front runner to the quarterback that they drafted in the 2nd round. That's completely disrespectful for them to consider the front runner.
Give the guy a shot, man.
Absolutely. 100%. The front runner, come on. They did just draft the guy. Come on.
And mind you, he didn't even have a training camp last year.
To
he
that
got thrown
point.
into the fire at Green Bay.
Yeah.
He was the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Come on. It's really he wasn't a 6th round pick. He's a 2nd round pick. That's
He won a national championship.
Championship.
And you
I can say that how the Eagles would be in the mix.
Yeah.
They're not sure of but come on. The front runner? Whoever's saying that's ridiculous. The Eagles shouldn't be thought. They should be like light phone calls at best.
It should be Denver because honestly, ever since Peyton Manning left, they can't draft a quarterback to save their lives.
They'll wait for Aaron.
Before Peyton Manning was there, they can't. When's the last quarterback they drafted? Was John Elway.
Elway's still running that team.
And only because Elway forced his way there.
He's going to wait.
Forced his way there.
Wait, watch. He's going to wait for Aaron Rodgers.
Well, they had Brock Osweiler.
Is that right? Well, no. Listen, I'll tell you this. I will boldly state, Aaron Rodgers, again, this guy is really, really smart. He's really like next level, like chess player. He's not going to sit there. He's not going to the Broncos because he's going to be like, Peyton did that. I'm not doing that.
I agree with you there. It's still
I got to say, and I'm not just saying this, but I truly believe that the Raiders are the team.
I knew you were going to say that.
Listen, because also Devontae Adams wants to be a Raider too.
Derek Carr has to prove it this year, regardless of what's going on. If Carr does not get you guys into the playoffs, and at least maybe 2nd, 3rd, come on. He's not going to be there next year, so they will be in the mix for Aaron Rodgers. You're right.
Well, Derek Carr is Carson Wentz 1.0 because all this stuff after Wentz tore his ACL and his LCL, he has to be the same guy. Derek Carr, I think it was like 6 years ago, would have won the MVP if he didn't tear his ACL that year. And then they had to start Connor Cook.
Listen, it was a broken ankle. Broken ankle, but
he was going to be in a mix for MVP. They never gave it to him, but he was having a
phenomenal. That team was 12-4. That team was 12-4, and we went to Houston in that wild card game. And Connor Cook literally got intercepted by Jadeveon Clowney the first play of the game. I mean,
all right, here's my counter to that, Patrick, that he hasn't been close to the same player. Physically, I think he's fine. I think his problem the last several years has been mental. And that tells me that he was going to have this decline whether he got the injury or not.
Yeah. I remember watching him against the Philadelphia Eagles in 2017 on Christmas Day,
Right.
and I didn't even recognize the guy. I'm like, this dude was about to be the MVP. I mean, it was just atrocious. He couldn't even make it. He couldn't even make it to anybody. Yeah,
that was the game.
Right.
That was Jack Del Rio's last game, when literally before the game, Mark Davis was talking to John Gruden, "Hey, you think you want to come back and coach?"
Yeah.
And
Then he
Gruden's
got sent down.
Gruden's if the money's right.
Then based on that, tells me
I'll
that
tell you what, man. If I can draft the quarterback and I can run spider 3Y banana third at the time, I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna do it.
We got the fullback to do it. That guy's name is Alec Ingold. But listen, I digress onto the silver and black. We know they're a very charismatic topic. But look, let's get back actually to the NFC East, because I love, Patrick, that you have supreme confidence in the Philadelphia Eagles, in which historically has been such a wide open division. The NFC East, I don't think there's been repeat champions in the last 20 something years. The Giants, the Cowboys, the Washington football team, and the Eagles. It's every year they rotate. Someone's really good, someone's really bad. So
who won
make your
last
case
year?
for
Was
the
it
Eagles.
Washington?
What, say again?
Washington.
Who won it last year? Was it Washington?
Washington did win it last year,
Yeah.
right? At 7-9 or some shit.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
because the Eagles punked out in that game. Otherwise, the Giants would have won that division. The New York Giants, who are not a great team, but they had some impressive victories last year. How about at Seattle? Yeah, how easy is it to beat Russell Wilson in Seattle? The Giants did it with a backup quarterback. So to me, the Giants have shown some toughness, and to me, they are my choice as the early dark horse contender. I say the Giants get to 10 wins, and I think 10 wins, 10-7, wins that NFC East, because every team's going to beat up each other. And you know what? I think Daniel Jones has the weapons now. I think that defense is really turning into something nasty, as champion Giants teams have been in the past. And so give me the Giants to win that division at 10-7. They might be a first-round playoff exit, but I think they're going to win that division.
Well,
yes, a losing record might win that division again this year. I don't care about the extra game. Those teams were bad last year, bad, not just bad, but bad. So
Last year.
I realize that, and I understand that it's easy to say that one of them is going to make a jump, but which one? You can come with me an argument with the Giants. You can come with me an argument with Philadelphia. We don't have a Washington or Dallas guy on here, but they can all come up with strong arguments why they're.
So make an argument for one of them.
So that's why I think they're going to do what you said last, beat each other up, just like they did last year. I don't think it's going to be a repeat winner, which makes Washington out. I tell you what, Patrick is pushing me towards Philadelphia, and believe me, they can surprise people because they know how to take advantage of an easy schedule.
that is correct. And that is why the Eagles are going to win the NFC East, ladies and gentlemen, because I feel like this happens every single year, where Dak gets his new contract and all the big pundits are on board, how about them Cowboys? And every single year when the money is on the table, they can't finish the job. And last time I checked, I think Ezekiel Elliott is still a little fat for playing running back,
Okay.
So last time I checked, I still think he has that gut, and he gets only slower and slower. And the other thing is, when you're talking about major injuries, okay, last time I checked, the timetable for full recovery is 2 years, and it's only been 1 year. So to believe that Dak is just going to be, up and up, I'm sorry, I'm not buying. And the other thing is, they're paying $20 million to a wide receiver that only plays half the time, because Amari Cooper is great at home, but he is a no-show on the road.
Number
Complete
2
no-show.
at best. Is
Dak's
Cooper.
already hurt.
He's a number 2 at best.
Yeah.
Do they still have Michael Gallup, the
Yes,
Cowboys?
yes.
Because
Yes.
Gallup is a good player. He
So
is
is
a good
Lamb.
number 2. They don't need Cooper. That was a dumb move by Jera trading for Amari Cooper. What has Amari Cooper done for the Cowboys? What, he gave Dak Prescott some more confidence? Dude, CeeDee Lamb is their number one guy now.
And he's in the slot.
But you know what though? In a lot of ways, think about a lot of NFL offenses. The slot guy is the best guy.
Yep.
Because the guy in the slot, he can go left, he can go right, he can go down the middle, he can do a hook, he can do anything. The guy on the outside, you're like, yeah, he's either going deep or he's cutting over. You know, it's a little more limited, I feel like. He might have great athletic prowess over the slot guy, but the slot guy, you don't know where the hell that guy's going to go.
And the other thing with the Cowboys is their offensive line. You know, their offensive line, you can't depend on because I feel like Tyron Smith is always hurt. Lyle Collins is always hurt. And last time I checked, Travis Frederick ain't walking through that door anymore. You know, you're all pro center. I don't think he's back there. You know, so.
Patrick, look, the Cowboys are probably the worst of the four. They're the worst of the four.
We're hating on them Dallas Cowboys.
To the Cowboys.
Michael's going to love this. Michael's going to love this. We're hating on them Cowboys.
Yeah.
Love to give them press, but the Cowboys don't even deserve argument. You can talk about Washington. They did win the division. And the Giants are at least have a quarterback we know what he can do for the most part. The Cowboys, Dak's already hurt. I completely agree with you there. This is not going to be a great year for them or him. They're going to try their best, but they're not even in the argument.
I'll say this about Daniel Jones, okay? He has one thing that he does perfectly when it compares to Eli. He has the deer in the headlights look down pat when things don't go right. And now he doesn't have, I mean, he has Saquon kind of. You know, it's still a wait to see game when it comes to him too.
Well, look,
I'm not going to hate on Daniel Jones.
You guys are loving Daniel Jones, that deer in headlights thing. Right, on that, was that Monday Night Football or was that Thursday night where he had that run for like 90 yards? He was sprinting away from you guys and then he fell.
That was against the Eagles.
I mean,
yep,
yeah,
that's right.
But at the same, and then he had another rushing touchdown later in that game. I'm just saying, Jones is still a little raw, but he has some ability that you're like, damn, this guy can be really good. But right, this is it. This is it for Daniel Jones. Like, we were just talking about teams looking for quarterbacks. Let me tell you right now, Chris, you're looking at me. Listen, if Daniel Jones does not prove that he is the guy with the Giants this year,
what's the bar?
They're going a different direction.
Then what's the bar?
What do you mean?
Third year.
I want to win 10 games. Make the playoffs. Make the playoffs.
Make the playoffs.
Make the playoffs. Yes.
Okay. I'd rather have Mr. Jones from the Counting Crows song, Mr. Jones and Me.
What about you? You know that song? You look a little young to remember that song.
I know the Counting Crows. I've seen him in concert.
Nice, Patrick.
Me too.
He can't. That's the Daniel Jones. He may not be the best quarterback, but as Brian has pointed out, at least he can run.
He can run.
He can run.
Look, and Jalen Hurts to destroy him in a foot race, but he can run.
No,
but
look,
Jalen Hurts still has to prove himself. Daniel Jones, we know he can run.
Listen, hey, Eli was a deer in headlights for many, many years, and then he won 2 Super Bowl MVP.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So if Daniel can put it together, but right, there's no guarantee of that. But you look at the talent on that Giants team, I think it stacks up to all those other teams. Yeah. But I will say one thing about the Eagles, because I'm pretty sure I have on high authority that, the Giants did badly want Devontae Smith. He was their guy that they wanted. And then the Eagles traded, boom, right in front of the Giants to take Devontae Smith. So that was a good move. But we shall see. They took Kadarius Toney from Florida, another young rookie receiver who has a lot to prove, but he has incredible speed, incredible size for like a slot guy. So we'll see. We'll see.
But they wanted Devontae, and he's wearing that midnight green, baby.
They did. Don't even get me started with those uniforms because you should bring back those Reggie White.
Kelly Green. I totally agree. In 2025, they'll bring them back, I'm sure.
I know when it gets when they go through the uniform protocol.
Yeah.
But anyway, that leads me to another one though. And listen, I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's a real pain in my ass, frankly. But it's something that we gotta take into consideration because guys like I'm spacing on his name now. Beasley.
DeAndre Hopkins.
talking about, the vaccine and this and that. I don't want to get into the politics of it, but look, some team, at some point this season is going to get fucked by a couple guys that are on the COVID list. How do you think this is going to play out? Is the NFL going to be cool with this? Are they going to really come down and maybe fine teams with draft picks? They can't really do that. What can they do? What will they do? And we say we're all good with it now because we're just like speculating. But believe you me, when your boys are playing on Sunday, you find out that 3 or 4 of your guys are on the COVID list and can't play, you're going to be salty as shit. I know I will be. So I don't know. Christopher, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't start with this. I think this is the biggest news in the NFL about the COVID restrictions that the usually listless NFL I would think balk on, but to me, I don't think that they did it at all. I think they're doing the due diligence. I don't think this is a political matter. This is about a workspace. If anybody in here worked in an office, they understand what it's like to work in an office, and you're a closed quarter of people, and you don't need to put yourselves at risk. To me, last year, 2020, was a trial run of what needs to be done and what needs not to be done. We already saw what can go wrong, specifically with the Denver Broncos. Several other teams had just as bad COVID outbreaks that we don't need, because with the difference between this year and last year, there is a vaccine that you can take, and the idea of a vaccine is that everybody needs to take it for it to work. So take the vaccine if you want to go to work, in my opinion. And we're already seeing examples of how it can be pretty negative, because reports say one of those teams with the worst vaccine coverage is the Washington football team. I guess we're going to stay in the NFC East, except their head coach is a cancer survivor and has no immunity at all. So he is an at-risk person. He has expressed worry about his own players that they won't get vaccinated, even though they put him at risk. So he can't even be around his own guys. And to me, it's based on an unfortunate amount of politics where it should not be. Since if you were born before a certain year, like 2000 at least, everybody has vaccines in their system already. So I'm sorry you don't want a new vaccine there. Can I get it back? Give me your polio vaccine back and your measles and mumps vaccine back. Enjoy that for a while. See how you like not having a spine.
When's the last time?
It's like for a lot of guys, let me finish. Yeah. Who have these internal problems, who are athletic regardless, they can play these things, but things can happen to them if they get sick. And these people who work in these businesses are not just the players. You have people who will clean up for these players, and maids and janitors and the whole bit. All these people need to be protected because they're all trying to make this thing work. So you want to go to this private business and make things work in the entertainment business, the least you can do. Or you can get the hell out. Cole Beasley, get the hell out. DeAndre Hopkins, I love you. Big Clemson fan, get the hell out. I don't care who you are. Why are you better and bigger than everybody else when you're supposed to be a brotherhood in this together? I'm done.
Yeah, for me, I just find it pretty ironic because of the idea that, a lot of these players have the choice right now whether they want to or want to not get the shots. But then if you look at all the surrounding cast members, if you will, all the reporters, all the, stadium workers, like you said, club, like locker room attendants, the front office, all of them are required to get it. Like it's a mandate, otherwise they ain't gonna be working there. And then the other angle I want to take when it comes to this is, sports betting is legal essentially everywhere now. And who's to say, for starters, for fantasy football, what happens if one of your guys that you put in your lineup last minute can't play in the game? Or what's happened with Major League Baseball a lot, where they're taken out in the first inning. Well, it's sorry, you're SOL, and that is going to make a lot of people not happy. And then what happens if you think about it on a larger scale in Las Vegas, where you have a Pro Bowl receiver, and in the first quarter, midway through the first quarter, he gets taken out of the game because he tested positive for the coronavirus. And then he gets taken out of the game. That totally switches up so many bets if you're betting on a team to win prior to game time. So to me, it opens up a world of angry possibilities, because people are still going to be betting on these games. They're not going to stop betting. And there's going to be a lot of pissed off people if it comes to fruition that one of those things happens. And I mean, it's a 99.9% guarantee that it will happen.
It's already happening. Lamar
exactly.
Jackson's out of. Lamar Jackson's out of. I mean, imagine you drafted Lamar Jackson. He's the second quarterback taken, whatever, third, maybe behind Josh Allen. And then, guess what? Week 1, well, he's playing the Raiders on Monday night. I'm okay with that. No, I'm kidding. He's out with COVID. Fuck that. I don't want to win like that. I want to beat his ass. Actually, I want to beat him.
If the fans make the NFL go, and the average fan works a typical 9-to-5 job and gets paid crap, but most of these jobs are requiring for you to get the compensation, and they can do it at the very least. You're being paid this amount of money to play a game for a living. You're not a garbage man, lawyer, not a plumber. You're not a regular human being or citizen. You are an athlete above people, and means you are automatically a role model. If you don't want to be that, and I've always thought about the people who say, I don't want to be role models, get the hell out, go change your name, become an average human citizen like
you're a role model by default.
By default.
Yes.
But that's
because you're playing a game for a living.
Right.
And the other thing with the NFL is when it comes to unions, the NFL Players Union might be the weakest of the 4 major sports.
Agreed.
So the owners, if they really wanted to mandate players getting their vaccines, there's nothing stopping them.
I mean, they pretty much are without doing so.
Without doing so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. With all the protocols.
You're going to be fined. You're going to lose draft picks.
You can't attend
or
meetings.
you know what the latest media manipulation is saying, listen, you don't need to get the vaccine, but if you don't get the vaccine, we're going to test it like every day.
Yeah.
And so if we find that you got it, then you're going to be out for 2 weeks.
That's right.
So, and then when you come back, we're going to test you again. And if you're positive again, you're going to be out for another 2 weeks. So no, you don't have to get the vaccine. But if you get the vaccine, you're not going to get tested. So you tell me what you want to do. Yeah. You tell me.
Right, you're right. You're 100% right, Brian. They're absolutely trying to hedge their bets. They're pushing them as hard as they can outside of just blatantly saying, hey, do it or sit the hell out until this disease miraculously disappears, like I guess you're expecting it to do.
It never will.
Subliminally, they're saying, you don't have to get the shot, but if you don't, we're gonna make life freaking miserable for you.
Miserable for you, as they should.
Mm-hmm. Well, and look, but some people, fuck, man, in New York City, now our dipshit fucking mayor, de Blasio, is saying, hey, listen, whatever, I don't care.
No, you care. Say it.
I got my shots in New York City. I didn't get no $100 for that. I didn't get $100 for that. Now they're literally begging people. We will do $100.
Brian, this is our world right now. 58% of NYC public hospitals are vaccinated. 58% of our hospitals.
Look,
what else numbers do I have here?
It is
5% of fire department, 43% of the NYPD. So that's not herd immunity.
No,
that's
we're not even close.
These are our public institutions. That's bad enough.
But look,
my private institution that I give so much of my attention and time to, the National fucking Football League, I'm happy that they're at least trying to protect the people that work for them during this pandemic. Because anything less would be atrocious. Again,
no, you're right.
Trial year. They saw what can go right or wrong. They need to start protecting their product.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're doing. It's all about, so I don't understand where Cole Beasley gets off. They're just trying to protect the thing that makes them money. Getting it.
And the other thing is
the opposite.
The other thing is, like, when it comes to the language of it, like, we're not idiots here. Like, when people say, well, they won't disclose whether they have or haven't gotten the shot, like Carson Wentz did today, and he said it's just a personal decision, I'm not going to tell anyone. It's like, dude, we know you didn't get it. Like, you think you can, like, give us that like PC answer? Like, listen, I'm not telling. Like,
I mean,
everybody knows. And like,
Yeah.
if you got it, you're gonna say it. If you didn't
Right,
get it,
right.
you're just gonna
But-
either say you didn't get it or be dismissive of it.
I don't know. I mean, also, I guess. Listen, we should. We're kind of running low on time here, so I want to get off this. But just the last thing, I think it's kind of like, you know, I really, honestly don't care if you want to get it or not. But what the thing is, if you do get it, and then you gotta like take up hospital beds and you gotta take up all these resources, you know, it's like, what's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? Are we moving forward together, or are we moving backwards?
Yeah.
So I'll just, you know, leave it at that.
I wish I can be on your side on that, Brian, but this shots that we're all insisting we all get doesn't work unless we all get it.
I don't think we all have to get it.
I believe
don't think
the
we
number
all
was
have to.
80%, and
70.
we're still. And I just listed
How many
the numbers
percent?
of our public
All right.
offices, so we're nowhere near that as a society.
We're killing this. We're going too long with it. But I just want to. What percentage you think has flu shots?
The difference.
Percent.
I can't compare flu to this. The flu and this.
Yeah. I'll just close. Let's just close with this, guys. I don't want Devontae Smith last minute to be taken out of the game in a Monday Night Football game with the Philadelphia Eagles against the Dallas Cowboys because he tested positive for COVID.
And
That's all I'm
the
missing.
right point. That's the
I know.
right point that we're trying to get to in the first place.
Yeah.
That this will, and again, it is, as NFL owners, this hurts your product if anyone gets sick.
Yes.
Look, because I know, because Nick Saban was like, "Hey, yeah, you don't need that. You don't need that time. I'm your father.
Yeah.
Bullshit."
Amen.
So, well, listen, just real quick, actually, right off the top of your head, and Devontae Smith is actually one of them as far as rookie receivers go. Who is a fantasy player that you think is prone to break out that all the talking heads aren't talking about yet? I mentioned mine a little earlier. I'll just say it real quick. I think CeeDee Lamb is going to emerge as the Cowboys' #1, and that guy's going to have a monster year. I think CeeDee Lamb and 88, and the Cowboys do not like the Cowboys, but they still got a bad defense. There's going to be a lot of shootouts. CeeDee Lamb's going to put up big numbers for the
Talking
Cowboys.
about like top kind of, like a major.
Top 10. He could be a top 10 receiver. Yes.
Go ahead,
Well,
Pat.
okay. This is going to be a bit of a hot take for you guys, so just bear with me here. The guy that I have as a breakout fantasy star he's played in the NFL for, I want to say like 3 years and change. And actually, before, he was actually a starting quarterback for a football team that was 1-4 in Denver. But then when he took the job, went on an 8-4 run to win the division and then won a playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he is now in Jacksonville with his guy, Urban Meyer. And that is one Tim Tebow.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Because they are going to use him in short yardage goal line situations. They're just going to hand him the football.
Right.
Everyone's saying he's going to be a tight end. He's going to be essentially the fullback, and he is going to score so many touchdowns.
James Robinson's going to run that ball. These other guys are going to run that ball. And
He's just going to hand
let
it to
Tebow
Tebow.
vulture the
I
touchdown.
guarantee
Fuck that.
Tebow will have 8 to 10 touchdowns. And he's
Maybe.
going to be a fantasy darling that people can just steal at the
I'll
last
keep my eye on that. I'll keep my eye. Listen, we got less than a minute, sadly. The time goes fast. Chris, give me one that you're dying for.
I'm not dying for anybody. It's early for me to care.
It's early. I know.
Someone's gonna get hurt.
But somebody, come on.
Someone's gonna get hurt, and it's going to kill me. If it's the person that I choose, I'm not ready to say who's gonna break out.
Jalen Razor's already hurt for the Eagles. Lower body injury.
Oh, dude, now you're having me think that
Someone's gonna get hurt, and that's my issue.
All right. Well, listen. This was fucking awesome, guys. We're going to do it again. We'll figure out how to get a little more time next time.